In this video, I'll demonstrate how to view student performance by standard, both for teacher assignments and from our student-driven Awakening platform. From my Legends of Learning homepage, I'll open Reports, which opens by default to the By Standard Reports and the Teacher Assigned data table. At the top left of the data table, I'll select Next Generation Science Standards as the standard for which I want to view data. What appears in this table is the aggregate data for any next generation standard I've assigned to my students in a Legends of Learning playlist. This data is summarized both by standard and by student. For each standard, I can see the total number of questions answered, the number answered correctly, the percent of correct answers, total playtime, and the number of activities, which includes both games and assessments. Just below this, I can see the same 5 pieces of data for each student's overall performance. I can also see a breakdown of student performance by each individual standard. All standards I've assigned are listed along the top of the table, and each student has icons that represent their performance within each assigned standard. I can hover over any icon to see the data behind it. An empty circle indicates that the student has not started an assignment in this standard. A half-filled gray circle means not enough data. The student has started an assignment in this standard, but has not yet answered any questions. A half-filled blue circle means in progress. The student has started an assignment in this standard, but hasn't yet answered the minimum number of questions needed to assess proficiency. This default number is 10 questions. An orange warning icon is displayed when the student has answered at least 10 questions in this standard, but the percent correct is below the default proficiency threshold of 80%. The last icon is the green dot, which indicates proficiency. The student has answered at least 10 questions in this standard, with over 80% answered correctly. I can click Download at the top to get a CSV file containing all of this data. With a premium account, I can also use the Filters button to show only specific data. The Summary slider enables me to turn off overall performance data and see data for just each student and standard. I can use the Date Range filter to show only data that came in between certain dates, or I can use the Topic filter to show only data for specific standards. From the list of standards, I can scroll and check the ones I want to see, or I can use the Search field to enter any part of the standard number or name. Clicking Done implements the Topics filter. Similar to topics, I can also choose the students or student groups for which I want to see data. I can choose individual students or entire classes, and there is a search field for this filter as well. The percent correct filter can be changed from the default 80% for proficiency, and I can also change the default minimum number of questions for assessing proficiency. If these values are changed, some of the student icons may update as well. For example, if I lower the percent correct, a student that previously had a warning icon may now have a proficient icon. To see standards-based data on student performance within Awakening, our student-driven platform, switch to the Student-Driven section of the Performance Report page. This table is comprised of data from independent play in Awakening, as well as any free play games played during teacher assignments. Student progress here is based on Legends of Learning's unit progressions in math and/or science. The icons for each student in this table are slightly different than those in the Teacher Assigned table. An empty circle means the student hasn't yet answered questions in this standard, and a half-filled blue circle means the student has answered at least one question in the standard and is in progress. Students remain in progress until they reach the level of proficient, represented by a green dot, which means they have scored a net total of 10 points. Our point system awards 1 point for each correct answer and takes off a half point for each incorrect answer. Students who have reached proficiency also receive a star rating based on the percent of questions they answer correctly. 0 stars means up to 60% correct, 1 star is for 60 to 70% correct, 2 stars for 70 to 80%, and 3 stars for 80 to 100%.